Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Curse of Oak Island. Marty says it's time to put a casing over Aladdin's cave and pull up its secrets. This week on The Curse of Oak Island, the team had to make some tough choices, but ultimately, they decided it was time to bring in a large casing and excavate Aladdin's cave. Last night's show, Season 11, Episode 10, called Chain Reaction, was a bit of an emotional roller coaster with the guys continually having to bat away problems and bad news. The episode began with the not-so-unexpected news that there would be a significant delay in the project to deepen the garden shaft. The guys had wanted to deepen the shaft to about 95 feet so they could spend the summer performing horizontal probe drilling in the search for tunnels and treasure. Unfortunately, the Dumas miners informed the Lagina brothers that the shaft wouldn't be deepened until the fall, due to recent flooding. However, Rick and Marty Lagina are not ones to rest on their laurels, so they thought about what else they could spend the summer doing. Marty suggested they put a large casing over Aladdin's cave. Oak Island team hopes excavating Aladdin's cave will reveal the treasure. Aladdin's cave is a large cavern about 60 feet southwest of the garden shaft, and at a depth of roughly 150 feet. Dr. Ian Spooner and his colleagues said the water in the cavern showed traces of precious metals and organic materials. The organic traces suggest the presence of wood, which implies there may be human-made structures down there. The guys have spent a few weeks flirting with Aladdin's cave, trying to work out if there's an access point in and out of the cavern. Frankly, they've not had too much success. Last night, the borehole team dug another hole into the cavern and was surprised when the casing came back up with loose, mushy material. The guys concluded that the cavern had suffered a collapse since they were last down there. A collapse would severely complicate matters. Surveyors Steve Guptill, Paul Troutman, and Ian were asked to go over all the data they've already collected through sonar mapping and the underwater camera to see if further exploration was feasible and warranted. Steve argued that one piece of footage from the cavern appeared to show a right-angled corner. This is not something that generally occurs in nature, so the guys are hoping it's evidence of a human-made structure. The surveyor also showed a 3D sonar map of the cavern, which he claimed showed at least 2 possible entrances to the cavern. Thankfully, Moneyman Marty agreed with Steve's analysis and gave his go-ahead to bring in a large casing to excavate Aladdin's cave finally. The rest of the team also agreed with this move. So, this season will now pivot its focus to this mysterious cavern, and we can expect the heavy drilling machinery to arrive within the next month or so. Aladdin's cave will be excavated, and we'll finally have an answer as to whether or not it holds the treasure. More artifacts found on Oak Island's Lot 5 and in the swamp. Elsewhere on the island, Billy Gerhardt and Gary Drayton spearheaded the hunt for artifacts at the southeastern edge of the swamp. Last night, they found many old-looking ship-based artifacts, but unfortunately, nothing was groundbreaking. Certainly no Bobby Dazzlers. And the archaeologists continued their slow and thorough excavation of the rectangular stone feature on Lot 5. Jamie Kuba uncovered an ornate glass bead that could originate from Venice and be up to 500 years old. Laird Niven called it a very important artifact. The early morning fog lay thick and low over Oak Island, cloaking the landscape in a ghostly shroud. The island, nestled off the coast of Nova Scotia, had long been a place of mystery and legend, with whispers of buried treasure and ancient secrets. For over 2 centuries, countless adventurers had been drawn to its shores, driven by dreams of unimaginable wealth and discovery. Among them were Rick and Marty Lagina, 2 brothers whose determination to unravel the island's mysteries had made them modern-day treasure hunters. The Laginas had explored many of the island's enigmatic sites, but none had captured their imagination quite like the place they called Aladdin's Cave. Named for its promise of hidden riches, this underground chamber had become the focal point of their quest. For years, they had probed its depths, encountering tantalizing clues and frustrating dead ends. But today was different. Today, they had a plan. Marty Lagina stood at the edge of the site, his gaze fixed on the ground where Aladdin's cave lay concealed. Beside him, Rick examined the latest data from their ground-penetrating radar, the screen glowing eerily in the misty dawn light. "This is it," Marty said, his voice tinged with excitement and a hint of trepidation. "We're going to put a caisson over Aladdin's cave and finally pull up its secrets." Rick nodded, his eyes reflecting the same blend of anticipation and caution. "We've come this far. It's time to see what's really down there." The decision to use a caisson, a large, watertight structure used to excavate underwater and underground, was not made lightly. It was a risky and expensive endeavor, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. Over the years, the Laginas had discovered fragments of evidence suggesting that something extraordinary lay beneath the surface. Pieces of ancient pottery, strange metal artifacts, and even a shard of parchment inscribed with cryptic symbols. As the sun began to pierce the fog, the team gathered around the site. The drilling rig, a towering piece of machinery, stood ready. Workers moved with practiced efficiency, securing the massive caisson in place. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of impending discovery, every creak of the equipment and every murmured instruction adding to the tension. With a deep breath, Marty gave the signal. The rig roared to life, and the drilling began. The ground trembled as the caisson descended, inching closer to the hidden chamber below. The Laginas watched, their hearts pounding in unison with the rhythmic thud of the machinery. Hours passed, each one feeling like an eternity. The drilling crew worked tirelessly, their focus unwavering. Finally, with a grinding halt, the caisson reached its target. A hush fell over the site as the team prepared to break through the final barrier. Marty and Rick exchanged a glance, their expressions a mix of determination and hope. This was the moment they had been waiting for. "Let's do it," Marty said, his voice steady. The crew moved into position, their hands deftly maneuvering the equipment. With a loud crack, the last layer of earth gave way, revealing a dark, yawning void. The air was thick with anticipation as the camera probe was lowered into the abyss, its light cutting through the darkness. The screen flickered, and then there it was, Aladdin's cave. The chamber was larger than they had imagined, its walls lined with strange, glistening formations. The camera panned slowly, revealing the contents of the cave. There were chests, ancient and ornate, their surfaces encrusted with the patina of centuries. Scattered around them were artifacts of every description, coins, jewelry, weapons, and more. The Laginas could hardly believe their eyes. It was a treasure beyond their wildest dreams, a collection that spanned epochs and cultures. But as the camera continued to explore, it became clear that there was more to this cave than just material wealth.